Welcome back to the lab. RB25DET NEO, the gift that just keeps on giving. Don't know where we were at last video, so I'm just going to rock on with what's in front of us right now. A little bit of a tool trolley all sort of set up, doing some stuff and things. Don't worry about that. I'll put that away soon. Probably not. It's been there for days, weeks. Clever people will have worked out what's happening here. This is not good. This is actually one of the better ones. Check that puppy out. Can anyone say wine barrel? It's so worn that it's tapered in at the ends, and when that's sitting in the cylinder head, it rocks backwards and forwards. Now, I didn't spot that. I didn't know that these had aluminium buckets in them, and all the shims that go on the top. This is selection here. Some of these are not from this motor. We'll explain shortly. Look to be in pretty good condition. That's the bottom side that goes against the bucket, and the top all pretty much looked like that. It didn't show any massive signs of real serious oil restriction, however there had been. So these are all stuffed. Now, if you've got an RB25DET and all these are stuffed and you ring this in New Zealand, I'm not sure if I got quoted retail or trade, but who cares? $252 and something cents plus GST each, and probably 3 months from Japan. So yeah, nah, but you can go on Engun, I think it's called, Nengun. Look at the state of this thing. It is rude. And you can get these for about 70 something bucks each. Or if you know someone that we know, our mate Eddie in Rotorua, we got a crankshaft from him the other day for cheap, and he happened to have a set. So these are the ones we got from Eddie. These have had a polish. Look at that. That's what you want to see. That's the condition that you need to have. There shouldn't be any marks on them at all. Now, I polished them using a rattle gun, and you'll go, what? Because I couldn't be bothered trying to do it nicely by hand. Look at this. Look at this. Eesh. So I found a socket that was about the right size, wrapped a bit of tape around it so it would have grip. Put that on there like that. There you go. Pull the trigger, that goes round and round. And now you've got a lathe. I'm not going to pull the trigger real hard because it'll fire sockets across the workshop and smash the glass. But then you can get your bit of wet and dry paper. Done. Polish them all up. So those are all good. This is here because all these bores that they run in, the cam followers run in, the buckets, were a little bit scratched up. Not horrendous, but there was just evidence of damage to them. So I've actually taken all the valves out and I've honed all those and made them like, I don't know if it looks like new from here, but I've made them very, very good, very, very usable, and we'll be good to go. Now these, put the right one in the right hole because I've checked for clearances, etc. Don't try and put it in on an angle while you're showing everyone. There you go. It's a nice fit anyway. Oh, there you go. See, it tried to fall back out. But that's a good, nice, beautiful fit in there. So don't worry about the state of the bench. This is not final assembly. This is machining stage. So a little bit of stuff lying around, and it's not really a big deal. So I'm going to check all the valves tomorrow. It's 5 minutes away from knock off the clock. So I'm going to check all these are not shonky, because we can't really trust much on this particular job. And put all that back together. And we've got some brand new camshafts coming from the boys at Calford's, because wherever they are, you know, they're down there in the bottom, see, in the mess, because these are scrap. That one there, that's our exhaust one. That doesn't look all that bad. until you notice the step in that. That's got 0.186 clearance between that and the journals in the head. I really don't care, those are scrap metal, if anyone's going, ooh, panicking about that crashing and banging. Supposed to be factory spec is 0.052 or 3 to 0.08 like 4 or something like that clearance between the cam and the head, and we had 0.13 or 6 or whatever it was I said routed. So these have all been very carefully adjusted to take the tolerances back to where it should be for a new cam, so you can actually lap them and very carefully hone the difference back to get it right. Technically you're supposed to line bore that on a machine, however we're dealing with such tiny chain, basically put 0.02 of a millimeter off this mating face here, so the amount of outer round that we would have is so small, it's not an issue. So that's all been tidied up. Hopefully I don't pick one up that looks shonky. No, is it going to focus? There you go. See? Beautiful. There aren't any that look shonky because I've been through and tidied. They're beautiful. Random one, there you go. Random one. Beautiful. It's a little bit dirty. Better, see? So yeah, going through this quite fastidiously, as you should do, to make sure it's right, because clearly it can't have been when it left the last workshop, or it would have at least made it home, and it didn't. So on the trolley there, we've got a N1 oil pump for it. So interesting thing, the RB25DET Neos have basically got an N1 pump housing in them with different gears in there. So the difference between the two is just the quality of the design and the material spec of the gears is better in the N1 than what it was in the RB25DET Neo. So we've got one of those. We've got a snout thingy. What's it? Ugh, how good am I? Not very good. I'm at the wrong end of the trolley. Where is it? Did you see that big bald head in front of you? One of those. That's a bit like the ones, the one that Al from the Skid Factory fitted, except this is a screw-on one, not a interference fit. Freeze the crank, heat this, and press it on. You could try that, but this is probably not going to be as good a material as the Tomy one. It probably was that they used, and this might then crack, and then you're going to destroy the engine all over again. So I'll let the guys at the engine reconditioning place, I'll let them fit this, because they have a lathe that's long enough to fit the crank in to do all that. Mine is about 50 millimeters too short. But you can't have all the gear to do everything. It just doesn't work out. Also, down here, there's a pile of stuff. That's for our next job. It's another one of those. Oh, don't worry, it's a cover on there. It's not junk stacked up on it. Yes, it is its own bonnet on there. There's things happening on that. I'm juggling that job, this job, and this job, and also another couple of jobs, all at the same time. Literally at the same time. Doing a bit on one and a bit on another, and just trying to minimize the amount of downtime. So more money in the bank for Christmas, hopefully. Right, let's, camshafts will be here tomorrow. Let's carry on from there. It just clicked over into Sunday afternoon, and it has stopped raining, so that's good. I can tell you what I'm up to now. Pretty much done that, haven't I? That's all pretty self-explanatory. Brand spanking. Look like Mark's is just from sitting in their head, fortunately. Brand spanking new Calford camshafts, just quite mild ones. They will require a new ECU. Factory ECU won't like running on those. That's fine. We've done that. We've ordered that. So setting up all the shims and everything, pretty much standard practice. All shim setting ventures are pretty much the same. Have your shims in there, assemble it, get your appropriate measuring devices such as these, unfortunately, imperial feeler gauges from actually South Africa. Yeah, it says Sheffield in England, but these have come from South Africa. They were part of the Air Force tooling equipment to run the Wasp helicopter with the Rolls-Royce Nimbus engine in. I think it was a Nimbus. What do they have? Some sort of Rolls-Royce motor anyway, so that's where they've came from. And I did some work in the aircraft industry and stole them, basically. So measure your clearances. Take note of what they are, take note of what they should be, figure out the difference, and take it all back apart again. Take your shims out, measure your shims to figure out what you had in there, and then figure out how much you had to increase the thickness by, and take it from all your stock. See, I've cleaned made these clean enough to write on them, and have done that, so I know what sizes they are. So when I come to this one, I've already actually, this is what all the ticks are across the top here. I've already done them on this side. So 10 thou was the number we needed, not 9 thou, and not 11 thou. So, I mean, we're talking very, very fine tolerances here. But if you get out your calculator and you convert intake camshaft 0.25 millimeter into thousandths of an inch, it's 10 thou or thereabouts, very, very close to. So that's what I was aiming for. These were out by a little bit, so I have adjusted all those shims. That should now be correct. And now I've got to put that camshaft back into the hole and tighten it all back down again and remeasure everything and make sure I got it right. And then we repeat the process for the other side. The other side, clearly we've got new buckets in there, so we have no shims, we've got no starting point, so I'm just going to throw in some shims. We've got lots of 2.53s, so I'm going to throw in lots of 2.53s. And then whatever the difference is here, hopefully it's pretty much all the same all the way through, if they've done their setting of their valve stem heights nicely, which they're only out by 2 thou, right? There's 1 thou either side of where they needed to be. So it shouldn't be too bad. All those shims have moved. They've all been scattered around and moved because I put it back in and it wasn't right. So I've gone through. It actually took a couple of goes on some of them. They're just right on the cusp of between one and the other on the feeler gauges. So it's fine. I've got that perfect. I'm 100% happy with that as far as the clearances and everything goes. And we have to start on this other one, as I said, but it's well and truly, well, it's way past lunchtime by a mile. RB25 Neo experts, is that right? Is this the right camshaft bearing cap for this? Because this has got the variable valve timing system here. There's a journal that runs in to get the pressure into the cam gear to do stuff and things it needs to do. Is that too narrow? Is this off a DE rather than the DE Neo? That's what they've got on the exhaust cam. That's fine for the exhaust cam, but I'm just a bit sort of, I don't know, is that the right one? Or has someone swapped in the wrong one? Look at the mess on the floor. You didn't see that. The workshop's perfect. This will all get a final clean. Once we've done everything we need to do, it'll get a final clean before it goes on to the motor. It's raining again. Exhaust side was an absolute mess. So I went through, I've deleted the numbers that were here for the ones that I've fixed. This is in thou. As I've explained earlier, I'm working across the two systems, which is sketchy, but if you're careful, it's fine. That was about 9 thou clearance, and that was obviously 15, so I could shim that down. I had smaller shims, so that one's now good. It's got a tick. This one here, being 15, we need a shim that's 2.60. The biggest I've got is about 2.53, I think is the biggest one that's left behind at the moment. This was 11.5 thou clearance, and we need about 11.8. So I've given that a tick. I've said, yep, that's pretty close. 0.3 of a thou. I can't even accurately really measure that, so that's fine. That one's good. We need a 2.59 shim to fix that one. This one was good. Can't remember what the numbers were. It's fixed now. It doesn't matter. This one's good. It's fixed. That's quite a lot of clearance. Seems to be the same number running through, doesn't it? 2.6 for that one, 2.57 for this one, 2.58 for that one, 2.59 for that one. So they're all around about the same sort of number. Now, it's not the buckets that are wrong. All the buckets measure exactly, give or take 0.01 of a millimeter, 10 millimeters thick. And all the shims that I started with were all, as I explained earlier, 2.53s. So it's their stem heights that they've set in the heads have been all over the place. I think trying to fix an issue that was potentially already there, which is why those buckets ended up being a word that sort of rhymes with bucket in a way. Anyway, so I've got a bit of wind and rain out here. I've got to go and order us some shims, see if I can get a selection at a reasonable sort of price, and that side's all good, it's all taken care of, and so they're all appropriately numbered now, so that if they fall out, it's no big deal. That's going to get a squirt of CRC over the top of it and a sheet chucked over it. But after 3:30 I'm going to go and watch some motorsport. Thanks for watching, you bloody legends. Oh, wait a minute. Look, it's one of those. So the main bearing caps were missing on this one. I think we might have seen that way earlier on. Look, I've got some. I remembered I had some. Now they have to be line bored to suit that block. But I've gone through and measured all the bores. That's all written on there. That's actually going to be probably quite suitable for using the bits and pieces out of that when I rebuild that motor instead of racing for the season, which is where we're at realistically. I made a promise to my wife that I would not participate in the series because it costs so much more money because of idiots, without some form of cash sponsorship coming on board for the car. Didn't get it. It's December now. It's way too late to try and organise something, so that's it. We're out. We're not doing the super lap season. We'll do other better things, more cooler things, like build a new motor, replacement motor, a fresh motor. I do have a new pair of turbochargers coming. We're selling the old turbochargers from this thingy to another 300 ZX job, so everybody wins. Yeah, pretty much everyone wins. Yep. All right, cool. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to suggest memberships so you get to watch the videos earlier. Good idea. All right, cheers, boy.